Hey guys, I wanted to talk about different types of pain. And I know there are many, many different types of pain, but a story came to mind and I wanted to use this. And I actually was talking to a client this week about it, one of my guys this week about it, this particular story. And it came up again today, funny enough. So I thought, you know what, I've had it on my mind and I thought that'd be a good thing to be able to, maybe use it as a teaching tool and lessons and things that you can take away and to help you. But, the two types of pain, and I know this is a whole broad spectrum and there's a lot of different ones that come under each side, but, you got your physical pain and then your mental pain. And, physical pain, we can actually feel something on our body. And I tell you what, the mentals can play a big role in that too. Trust me. And if you start getting stomach issues and stomach aches and headaches and, you get the shaking and your cortisol levels go up and then you've got any kind of injuries or anything like that, that pain will materialize because it's pulling you away from something up here that we may feel out of control with, but you feel that pain and you push that pain somewhere. And I tell you what, it'll start playing up and you'll start getting symptoms of all kinds of things that, it's just in relation to the stress and everything that you're putting on yourself. It's just like if I said to you right now, don't think about a purple elephant. You're probably thinking about a purple elephant. And it's the same kind of thing with it, with your body. And if you feel something and you draw your attention to it, you can start making that grow into something that it even is, isn't. But, I'm not telling anybody to go, freaking ignoring any pain or anything. Just have an understanding that, mental health comes into that too. But when it comes to mental health pain, as in traumas and anxiety and depression and, a lot of different mental disorders out there, it can be brutal because it's something that people don't see. They may be able to see if you're going to some bad depression or, you have anger, rage issues or anything like that. Yes, they see it, but it's like a symptom of the actual issue that's going on. One of those pains is the grief even. When you're going into grief, it's a pain. It's a psychological pain. You can start feeling it within your own body because you go into certain areas of the mind, like not eating correctly and giving up on your exercise. And we do this as well when we go into some of those heavy depressions. We don't look after ourselves as far as exercise and food. We kind of withdraw and pull away, even from people. But grief is a heavy one because there's the grief of someone there, say in a breakup, a relationship, and they're still there. The person is still around, but you're still going through a grieving process, but they're still there. And then there's the grief of the person or pet, which brings in my story. There's that too. There's the actual fun aspect of that and knowing, and the mind knows this, and the mind's able to move forward in grief, but it can be really difficult if a relationship is kind of broken and that other person, you get triggers and, especially if you're codependent too, that's a heavy one. But anyway, a story for me was when my dog, my boy, my Rotty, my last Rotty, and his name was Nelson, and they named him after Horatio Nelson, the great navigator around warships, basically, back in 1805 when he fought in the Battle of Trafalgar. But it's someone that I've always been interested in, sail ships, everything like that. My dad was in the Navy, and I got into the Nelson side and Nelson's columns in London, and went and saw the Victory, and it just seemed right. When this guy came along, we went to this guy, and he had this fella was walking around. walking around and with his tongue hanging out, and I'm like, let's get out. And the poor guy was full of fleas, and we were standing in the kitchen picking. It was, he grew, and as he grew up, and he grew up with my girls, and as he grew up, he just became he knew, he so knew when I was out, if I was, if my mentals were in a different place, or if I was sad, he knew, and he really became more than just a member of the family. He became like an emotional, a real emotional kind of support system for me too. So when it came to him, going to the great universe, there was a period leading up to the actual decision of it all, like many of us do. And trust me, this guy was, all our dogs, remember, even the one we got now, we got a pit bull now, and blimey, totally different way of looking after a dog. I tell you what, it's like, blimey, it's like, yep, I can see how different breeds have different things. It's like, blimey. But anyway, this guy, he when he got hurt, he broke a leg, and never heard a scream like it. I thought it was actually one of the kids, and he was playing, and it was the only time I knew he was hurt, because when I went over to him, I didn't know what was going on. He was freaking out, and I grabbed him, pinned him down, and he didn't bite me, but he actually growled and went for me, and I thought, oh, something's not right. And he broke his leg. So when we got into the vet and everything, they said, yeah, and they diagnosed him with cancer and that, which he actually ended up beating, we believe. We really do believe that, because things come back clear, and it ended up getting a bone spur in his spine, and it wasn't good. So our own selfish reasons want, the person or the animal or whatever to stay there, right? And I could see he was deteriorating, and so I turned into the journey. And this is why we stay on these journeys, and this is why we work on ourselves on a constant basis. I spoke to somebody else, and I said, yeah, you meditate every day working on your mind, because when the shit really gets a little heavier, you can really pull in your own tools and work on yourself. And it's really, really important to have those things put in place, and practice. And no, practice doesn't make perfect. There isn't no such thing as perfect. But I turned to the journey and asked, what's going on here? What do I need to learn here? Because I was very, very upset, just like anybody would be. And I went out for a walk, and I'm like thinking, and I'm like, what is it you're teaching me? What is it you're teaching me? And certain things started coming back to me, as far as, following a path and following a way, and not tuning into that. So I guess selfish side, and patience, and being able to let go, and having an acceptance. And all these lessons started coming in and started playing a role. And I started to listen. Because when I started getting into those upsets, it was a matter of, okay, I'm going to keep my energy, it's not gone yet. And I would just, that's when you start becoming present, real present. Using that, what I've been talking about, the quality of time and not the quantity of time. Quality of time means so much more. Listening, quality of time, it's important. And I just started being real present, getting to know myself a little more, how to handle certain emotions. It wasn't an easy task. And it never is when you're trying to work with certain programs and aspects in your mind. And grief's a normal thing to go through. Absolutely, it's a normal thing to go through. But we can handle it in different ways, or we can give ourselves different messages. You know, like net coping, and we will cope, and you know, it's putting our mind in the right directions. I got into the United States. I was here 5 days, and my dad passed away. That was another big one, but I didn't have the lessons then. I didn't know what to do. I was incomplete, you know, and it was all, you know, I was about to do immigration and things like that, and it ended up becoming, it would have been a lesson, and I'm sure there's lessons in there, absolutely. You know, I mean, one of them being loyal to the path where you're going. At that time, didn't know this path then. But you get faced with some difficult situations, and we can either stop, breathe, and ask, okay, this is rough, but what can I pull from this? What's a teaching that I can go and grab onto and use as a positive way? What is it? What am I learning? What is it? You know, and you can shift that pattern slightly. I'm not saying it happens overnight. I went through a lot of crying with that guy when he was going, walking and, you know, talking to people. And thank God, you know, I've got some mates in England too that I opened up to. And yeah, and to hear that guy on the other end go, dude, let it go, man. It's all okay. And yeah, I mean, tuning back in, breathing, bringing yourself back, starting to rely on those tools, making it happen, pushing ourselves into where we want to be, where we want to go, because we don't want to stay in the grief. It's those people wouldn't want us to stay in the grief. They really wouldn't. And those that do, you know, I feel sad for them. It's about moving forward. It's about learning what's there, what the realities are, what we can do, what we can't do, moving through the process of what we are leaving behind, what we may be missing, what is starting to distance itself from us that we can't get. Maybe it's the only thing that, you know, that was there for that person, but then turning that and going, well, those are the things that I learned, and those are the strengths that I'm taking, and these are the things I know to do and not to do, and use it as the lessons, guys. Like I said, it's not easy, but you can do it. You keep moving forward. You keep the drive going. Keep that positive mind, and keep moving forward into that PMA. Using the PPA, the positive progressive actions, moving you forward. Make it happen, guys. Stay that course. Namaste.